Hello, welcome to Unbelievable Tales.
He never wanted a family. At least that's what he told her, before walking away without looking back. Years passed. He built empires, broke records, and buried what he lost. Until one ordinary afternoon, in a place he never meant to be, he saw her, the woman he once loved, with three little girls who looked too familiar to be strangers. They had her smile, but one of them had his eyes. What happened next wasn't a reunion. It was a reckoning. And some truths don't knock, they explode. Before we dive into the story, comment below where you're watching from. Enjoy the story, everyone. It was supposed to be just another stop. A quick meeting with a real estate broker, a coffee to go, and back to the city before anyone recognized him. Alexander Grayson didn't do small towns. He didn't do detours. But his assistant had double booked. And now he was standing outside a red brick cafe with frosted windows and flower boxes, still clinging to the last of the autumn mums. The bell above the door jingled as he stepped in. Warmth, cinnamon, and chatter, it smelled like the kind of life he used to mock. The kind people settle into when they stop chasing things. He almost turned around. Almost. And then he saw her. At first, it didn't register. She was behind the counter, her hair longer than he remembered, pulled into a messy twist with a pencil stuck through it. She wore a pale sweater with flower on the elbow and had a smile in her voice as she spoke to a child tugging on her apron. Then two more girls ran into the frame, identical in size and shape, laughing over mismatched muffins and fighting over whipped cream. His heart stopped. 3. They couldn't have been older than 4. Maybe 5. His gaze snapped back to her. Lily Hart. The woman who had once stood in his penthouse doorway, eyes red, voice trembling, asking if he could ever imagine a life with children. He had said no. And now she was here, radiant and real, surrounded by the very thing he'd claimed he didn't want. She didn't see him at first. She was too busy kneeling beside the smallest girl, wiping cream from her chin, laughing when the child smushed it right back onto her nose. He was halfway to the door when she looked up. And froze. It was only a second, but it cracked the air. He knew that look. Recognition. Shock. Something else too, something she buried just as fast as it surfaced. "Hi," she said, voice calm but not steady. "I didn't know you were in town." Neither did he. "I'm not," he replied. "Just passing through." A pause. "Still allergic to whipped cream?" she asked, glancing at the mess around her. He tried to smile. "Some things don't change. Some do." The girls were watching him now. All 3. One with wide eyes. One with narrowed suspicion. One with the kind of boldness only children have, the kind that studies you like a puzzle to be solved. And it was her. The one in the middle. Same ice blue eyes. Same arch in the brow. Same sharp little chin. His breath caught. He looked at Lily. But she wasn't looking back. "Would you like coffee?" she asked lightly. "It's on the house." He wanted to ask everything. Now. Loudly. But he nodded. "Please." She moved like she always had, efficient, graceful, in control even when her hands trembled. He remembered that about her. The way she'd hide nerves behind motion. The espresso machine hissed. The girls whispered. One asked, "Who's that?" too loudly. "Just a customer," Lily said gently. The word sliced through him. "Just." She handed him the cup. Their fingers didn't touch. He took a sip and regretted it instantly. Too hot. Too bitter. But he didn't flinch. "You look well," he said. "So do you." There was a storm between them now. Silent. Dense. Years of what wasn't said and what couldn't be undone. He looked down at the girls again. "Yours." A beat. A breath. A choice. "Yes," she said finally. Plural. His throat tightened. "They're beautiful." She nodded. "Thank you." He didn't ask the next question. Not out loud. She didn't offer the answer. The door chimed again as someone entered behind him. A man. Tall, flannel-clad, with sawdust on his jeans and a crumpled list in his hand. He greeted Lily with a warm smile. She smiled back, wide, comfortable. "Hey," the man said, ruffling the girl's hair. "You ready to go?" Lily glanced at Alexander. Her smile faltered for a fraction of a second. "Almost. Let me just." But he was already stepping back. "Thanks for the coffee," Alexander said, forcing his voice into something smooth. She nodded. "Safe travels." He left without looking back. But the questions followed him all the way to the car. And when he looked in the mirror, he saw those blue eyes again, not his own. Hers. The girl in the middle. The one who didn't blink. He wasn't sure why he drove back the next day. Or the day after that. He told himself it was about closure. But the truth sat heavier. He had spent his whole life building things. But he might have walked away from the only thing that mattered. And now he wasn't sure if there was any way back. He waited outside the cafe for 47 minutes the next morning. Just sat in his car with the engine off, watching condensation gather along the windshield. The girls didn't come this time. It was early. Maybe too early. But Lily was there, pulling chairs out, unstacking cups, wiping down menus with the kind of quiet attention that made everything else fade. He hadn't realized how much he missed watching her move. At 7:15 she looked up and saw him. Didn't wave. Didn't smile. But she didn't turn away either. He took that as a sign. The bell chimed again as he entered. She didn't ask what he was doing there. Coffee, she said. No whipped cream, he replied. This time she almost smiled. He took the corner booth, the one furthest from the windows where no one would recognize him. He hadn't shaved. Hadn't checked his phone. Something about this place made the rest of the world irrelevant. Or maybe just small. She brought the coffee without comment and disappeared behind the counter. It took him 2 hours to gather the courage to speak again. He waited until there were no more customers. Until the hum of background music was the only sound between them. I saw her eyes, he said finally. Lily didn't move. I didn't imagine it. She wiped her hands on a cloth, slowly, methodically. Then she walked over, leaned her elbows on the table across from him. What exactly are you asking me? I'm not sure, he said, voice lower now. Maybe I'm asking if you had any reason to tell me. Back then. She exhaled through her nose. You made your stance very clear, Alex. I was scared. You were certain. Silence again. Not cold. Just heavy. I didn't know, he said. I swear to you, Lily. If I had, you would have done what? She cut in. Flown me to your penthouse? Hired a team of lawyers? Made a decision based on image instead of instinct. He winced. You think so little of me? I think I knew you, she said. And I also knew what it would do to me to hear you say no again. I made the choice for both of us. His throat felt raw. You had triplets. She nodded. I did. Alone. Not entirely, she said quietly. My sister helped for a while. Then this town. People here. They don't ask where the father is. They just ask if I need help carrying groceries. He blinked. Why here? Because here, I'm not your ex-fiancé. I'm not the girl who got left behind while the world watched you rise. I'm just Lily. I bake. I work. I raise 3 amazing girls. And most days I even remember how to breathe. That last part almost broke him. He leaned back. Do they know? About you? She asked. He nodded. No, she said. Not by name. They've asked. I told them he was someone I once loved. Someone who wasn't ready. He swallowed hard. And now? She looked at him carefully. Are you? The weight of the question settled into his chest like stone. I don't know, he said. I didn't come here with a plan. But when I saw them. You saw yourself, she finished. I saw what I missed, he corrected. And I'm not asking for anything. Not yet. But I can't pretend they don't exist. I won't. Lily nodded slowly. Then, after a long pause, she said, tomorrow. After school. We go to the park at 4. They don't bite. He looked at her, unsure if she was serious. She turned before he could answer and walked back behind the counter. No goodbyes. No promises. But it was enough. The next day, he showed up 10 minutes early. Stood by the swings pretending not to pace. The air was crisp, leaves spinning lazily down from the trees. Every sound felt magnified. Each voice, every bark of a dog, the screech of a swing chain. Then he saw them. 3 girls in matching coats, pale pink with little ears on the hoods. Lily held 2 by the hand. The boldest ran ahead, already yelling something to a friend across the park. The middle one stopped and looked at him. Their eyes locked. No confusion, no fear, just quiet assessment. He knelt instinctively, hand on one knee, as if calming a startled animal. She took a step closer, then another. Finally, she stood in front of him and said, You're the coffee man. He smiled. Guilty. You don't smile much, she noted. I'm working on that. She tilted her head. Are you a friend of Mommy's? I used to be. She considered that. And now, I'd like to be again. The girl blinked. Okay. Just like that. The other 2 caught up, swarming around him with questions and sticky fingers and mismatched gloves. One showed him her scraped knee. Another asked if he had snacks. Lily watched from the bench, arms crossed, unreadable. He didn't try too hard, didn't push. He just stayed. When one of the twins fell from the monkey bars, he was the first to reach her. Held her tiny body while she sobbed, murmuring comfort until Lily arrived. Their hands touched then, briefly steadying the girl between them. Lily didn't pull away. Neither did he. By the time the sun dipped below the trees, the girls were begging to know if the coffee man could come again. Lily told them gently not to ask questions like that. But she didn't say no. That night, he sat in his hotel room staring at the ceiling. The city skyline glittered through the window, but it felt distant. Irrelevant. He pulled out his phone. Typed a message. Deleted it. Typed again. I don't want to miss any more of them. Sent. The reply came 5 minutes later. Then don't. He didn't sleep after that. But he did, for the first time in years, start dreaming again. The next few weeks blurred into a rhythm that shouldn't have felt natural but did. He became a familiar figure in the girls' periphery. First as the coffee man, then as Mommy's old friend, and eventually just Alex, said with a kind of careful curiosity, like they were testing how much space he was allowed to take up. He never forced it. Never asked for titles. Never crossed the invisible line Lily had drawn with her silence. He just showed up. At the bakery when Lily forgot the extra carton of milk. On rainy Saturdays with puzzles and old board games. At the school talent show, sitting in the back row with a ridiculous grin while one of the twins played a triangle entirely out of rhythm and the others danced in sparkly socks. They didn't know he'd flown back from a board meeting in Chicago just to see it. They didn't know he cried in his car afterward. Because there was a part of him, growing louder each day, that couldn't stop repeating, I could have missed all of this. One afternoon, Lily found him sitting on her porch step. The girls were napping inside after a chaotic birthday party involving too much frosting and an inflatable unicorn. He looked tired, but peaceful. She handed him a cup of lemonade and sat beside him. You stayed, she said. I didn't know how not to, he replied. They sat in silence for a while, watching wind ripple across the grass. They adore you, she said eventually. They talk about you constantly. You become the measuring stick for every other adult they meet. He laughed softly. That's a terrifying amount of pressure. They don't know, she added, quieter now. I know, he said. I've been thinking about that. And? I don't want to tell them out of guilt or impulse. I don't want it to be messy. It will be messy, she said. Everything worth doing usually is. He looked at her. I want to be in their lives. Really in it. Not just the background. And me, she asked without looking at him. The question shattered the quiet between them. He turned toward her. You were never background, Lily. You were the blueprint. Her eyes filled, but she blinked it back. Then why did you walk away? Because I was stupid. Because I thought love meant control. Because the idea of becoming someone's father terrified me more than losing you did. And I was wrong. About all of it. She studied him carefully. People don't change overnight, Alex. I haven't, he admitted. But I'm trying. Slowly. Honestly. With every day I show up. She said nothing for a long time. Then, they're yours. He didn't breathe. They always were, she continued, her voice barely audible. I was going to tell you. I even wrote a letter once. But I saw the press about your expansion in Tokyo and thought, no. He's living his life. Let him. His hands were shaking. He hadn't noticed until she reached over and steadied them. I miss so much, he whispered. You can't get it back, she said. But you can be here now. I want to tell them. Then tell them, she said. But not because you need to fix the past. Tell them because you're ready for the future. He looked at her and saw it. The woman he had loved, the mother he never got to witness becoming one, the strength he'd once been too blind to trust. And he nodded. That evening he brought a photo album. Not a grand gesture, just a quiet one. Pictures from his childhood, stories they could ask about. The girls gathered around him on the carpet while Lily folded laundry in the background. This is me at your age, he said, pointing to a picture of himself on a red tricycle. Why do you look like a potato? One asked, frowning. He laughed. Because I hadn't grown into my face yet. The middle girl, the one with his eyes, rested her chin on his shoulder. Were you scared when you were little? All the time, he said honestly. Are you scared now? He paused. Yes, he said. But not for the same reasons. Like what? Like missing things that matter. She nodded, seemingly satisfied, and turned the page. Lily watched from the doorway, arms folded, heart pounding. She wasn't ready. Not really. But she also knew there was no such thing. That night, as she tucked them into bed, one of the girls whispered, "Is Alex part of us?" She kissed her forehead. "He's learning how to be." And for now, that was enough. The next morning, she found a small box on her porch. No name, no card. Inside was a folded note in Alex's handwriting and 3 silver lockets, each one engraved with the same words: "For every moment I missed, and every one I won't." The note just said, "Tell them when you're ready. I'll still be here." The article hit the internet 2 days later. Not on a major site, not yet. Just a glossy blog known for feeding whispers to hungry screens. But it spread fast. Too fast. Grayson's scandal? CEO spotted with small-town waitress and look-alike children. Sub-headline: Sources suggest paternity rumors tied to former fiancée Lily Hart and 3 identical little girls with a very familiar jawline. Lily read it standing in the hallway at work, a mop still in her hands. The floor beneath her might as well have dropped out. She didn't call him. Didn't scream. Didn't cry. She just went home. Sat at the kitchen table. Waited. He arrived an hour later. No tie. No coat. Just breathless silence. "I didn't leak it," he said before she could speak. "I swear to you, Lily. I've told no one. I've protected you them from the start." Her jaw clenched. But someone saw. Someone took a photo. That talent show. The park. The porch. He closed his eyes for a second. "Yes. You should have known this would happen," she snapped. "I did," he said. "And I was ready." "Well, I'm not," she said, voice trembling now. "I'm not ready to have my daughters speculated about. Judged. Dragged into a spotlight they never asked for." "I'll stop it," he said. "I'll call the firm. My PR." "No," she said, standing. "Don't spin this. Don't manage it. Just be honest with me, Alex. What do you want?" He looked at her, and for once the polished CEO was gone. There was just the man. The broken one. The trying one. "I want them to know me," he said. "Not just as the man who showed up with muffins and stories, but as their father. Not yet, not loudly. Not on TV. But truly." She stared at him. "I want you," he added. "Not as a prize. Not as a chapter 1 revisit in midlife. But as the woman I walked away from and was never whole again. And when the media explodes," she whispered, "when they come knocking, I shut the door," he said. "And I build a stronger one. With you. If you'll let me." Silence pulsed between them. One of the girls, Ava, the quiet one, appeared in the doorway dragging a stuffed fox by the ear. "Mommy," she said. "Are we in trouble?" Lily knelt instantly. "No, baby. Not at all." Alex lowered himself beside them. "Sometimes grown-ups mess up. But no one here did anything wrong. You're just very loved." Ava looked between them. "Did you cry?" "Maybe a little," Lily admitted. Ava handed her the fox. "He helps." Lily almost laughed through the tears. "Thank you." That night, they sat on the couch while the girls watched cartoons with sleepy eyes and jelly-stained fingers. Alex didn't say much. He just stayed, hand resting on the armrest, close but not touching. When the girls were asleep, he asked softly, "What do I do now?" Lily looked at him. "You stop trying to fix everything in one day," she said. "You stop thinking grand gestures are the answer. And instead, you pick up groceries. You show up for art night. You help with the math homework I don't understand." He nodded. "And when they're ready," she continued, "you tell them, together, gently, you let them lead. And I'll be next to you," she said. "But not if you disappear again." "I won't," he whispered. "You say that now," she said. "But staying, it's harder than running." He reached into his coat pocket, pulled out a photo, old, wrinkled, of her at 22, beaming beside him at some gala. Before the distance, before the silence. "I kept this," he said. "All this time." She didn't take it, but her hand hovered over his. "I loved you then," she said quietly. "But I didn't trust you to love all of me." "I didn't," he said. "But I do now." Her eyes searched his face. She didn't answer, but she didn't move away either. The next day, a statement went out. Simple, direct, no denial, no sensationalism, just truth. Alexander Grayson asks for privacy regarding his personal life. What matters most to him is not public speculation, but the well-being of the children involved. He will not be answering questions at this time. That night, Lily got a call from an unknown number. A reporter. She didn't answer. She didn't need to, because her girls were safe in their beds. And Alex was on the porch fixing a loose railing with borrowed tools and a look on his face like maybe, just maybe, this was a life worth building. Weeks passed. Then a month. The headlines faded. The noise quieted. The world, so eager to chew up scandal, lost interest when no one took the bait. There were no press conferences. No exclusive interviews. No dramatic tell-all moments. Just school lunches, forgotten mittens, and late-night storytelling sessions under the covers. Alex never moved in. Not yet. But he became part of the routine in ways that mattered more. He picked them up from art class. Waited outside the dentist's office. Learned how each girl took her cereal, one with bananas, one with cinnamon, and one who insisted on ice cubes to make the milk colder. He didn't always get it right. But he never stopped trying. One night, after the girls had fallen asleep in a pile on the couch during a movie marathon, Lily and Alex sat on the back steps in silence. The moonlight spilled across the yard. Fireflies blinked in lazy rhythm. I keep thinking I'll mess this up, he admitted. She didn't laugh. Didn't soften the truth? You will, she said. So will I. But messing up isn't the same as leaving. He nodded. She leaned her shoulder against his. You stayed. I don't even know what I was running from anymore. Yourself, she said. The idea that love made you weak. He turned toward her. And now? She met his eyes. Now I think you know it makes you human. They didn't kiss. Not then. It wasn't a moment for sparks. It was one for stillness. For roots. 3 days later, one of the girls, Isla, the bold one, handed Alex a drawing. It was crayon and glitter and bent at the edges. It showed 5 stick figures under a crooked rainbow. Lily, Ava, Isla, Mia, and one tall figure with messy black hair labeled simply, Dad. He froze. She knows, Lily said from the kitchen, watching. All 3 of them know. They never asked? Not directly, she said. But they've always known you were something more. Children see things we try to hide. He crouched and looked at Isla. Do you want to talk about this? She shrugged. Not really. I just wanted you to have it. And she ran off. He held the paper for a long time. That night, Lily curled into him on the couch, the silence easy between them. You still afraid? She asked. Only of losing this, he said. You won't. The next morning, he brought a box. Not wrapped. No ribbon. Just a box with soft linen, folded legal papers, and a letter. He handed it to Lily while the girls built towers out of cereal boxes. What is this? She asked. A trust. For them. And not from Grayson Holdings. From me. From my own account. Her eyes widened. It's not about control, he said quickly. It's just security. For the future. College. Life. I don't want them to think love comes with price tags. But I also don't want them to ever worry the way you had to. Lily stared at him. Then she put the box down, walked to him, and kissed him. Not out of gratitude, but out of something long overdue. A few weeks later, they stood in the backyard planting a tree. The girls helped, each taking turns with the tiny shovel, laughing at how messy it all got. What kind of tree is it? Ava asked. Alex smiled. An oak. It'll grow slowly, but it'll last. Like us? Mia said, tilting her head. Exactly like us. The roots sank deep that day. Into soil, into memory, into something neither of them had words for. Months passed. The porch light was fixed. The school art show came and went. Lily's old car finally gave out and Alex helped her buy another one, used, reliable, with a tiny toy unicorn hanging from the rearview mirror because the girls said it brought luck. One Saturday morning, he showed up with a key. To what? She asked. A cabin, he said. Out near the lake. Somewhere we can go and just be, us. No paparazzi? Just raccoons. And bears. I'll bring waffles. She laughed, pulling him into a hug before the girls came stampeding down the hallway. Later that night, as they sat around the dinner table, spaghetti night, always messy, one of the girls blurted, Can we keep him? The others chimed in instantly. Please. We like him. He's funny when he burns toast. Lily pretended to think. I don't know, she said. Do you think he's ready for permanent glitter? Alex raised both hands in surrender. I accept the glitter. I embrace the glitter. The room burst into laughter. And later, after bedtime, when the house was quiet, Lily looked at him across the table. Do you want this? She asked. Not just the noise and the good parts, but all of it? He reached for her hand. I already have it, he said. Now I want to keep building it. And as her fingers curled into his, she knew this wasn't about redemption. This wasn't about the past. This was love. Not the easy kind, the true kind, the kind that stays. Exactly like this.
Bye, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.